Heather, let's talk about the most American film genre there is.
Disney movies?
Picture this. Monument Valley. Tumbleweeds blowing across the desert. Chuck wagons creaking down a dusty trail. Cattle drives stretching for miles. Ranchers with grit in their teeth. And of course, those saloon doors just swinging back and forth.
Ah, the classic Western. My dad loves Westerns. I actually grew up watching them every Saturday morning.
Me too. I grew up on them. John Wayne, Henry Fonda, Jimmy Stewart, can't forget Clint Eastwood. At the end of all of them, you knew what was going to happen. High noon, empty street, just two gunfighters. One was going to draw, one was going to win, one was going to die.
The winner was going to ride off into the sunset, usually with the girl.
Yep. Just like in Shane or The Searchers, or how about The Sons of Katie Elder?
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, you got four brothers coming back to serve justice in the old-fashioned way. You can't talk about Westerns without talking about the gunfight of the OK Corral. But how about the greatest Western of all time? The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh, that's a good one.
You got three of them standing off in that desert. They're all staring. All three of them got that standoff. Tension union cut with a Bowie knife. All for some gold. I got to tell you, that's living. And that's what we have on our hands tonight, cowpokes. Two rugged, hard-riding, all-day working cowboy bourbons facing off right here tonight on this barrel. From their old-school labels to their traditional old-time sour mash claims, these represent the yesteryear of bourbon. Now, Pilgrim, are you ready to meet your maker?
You're a daisy if you do.
Ooh. Howdy, partner.
What's up, B?
Did you wear your boots for this Western adventure?
Don't we think we've already exhausted this theme so far?
Now listen, sister. You know, I can't do John Wayne justice. But I do love Westerns, and cowboys sure do love their whiskey. Willie Nelson taught me that. But, back to the present. Welcome to Tortured Bourbon. We're here at Cassiter Rooster. We're exploring bourbon as just two enthusiasts learning about whiskey as we go.
That's right. And if this is your first time, first, welcome. And second, please subscribe. This is not one of those fancy shows with sponsors. This is purely a passion project, and it really helps us to grow if you share with your friends and family.
It's free.
Yeah, it's truly a bargain. And if you look in the description, you'll see that we're active on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Follow us on all of it.
We'd really like to hear from you. What do you like? What should we change about the show? Heck, what do you want us to feature on the show?
Our current adventure has us seeking out the best bottled and bond whiskey by blind taste off in true madness format. As you can see, we've had several true tests up until this point, and we know tonight's showdown is no different.
Hey, you made a Western reference.
I know.
I'm proud of you. We drink both bourbons blind, set up here by our resident Aussie Katie. Now, her favorite Western, Man from Snowy River. And then we taste them against each other, we rank them against our patented scale, and then we're going to pick a winner.
That's right. Katie then tells us which bourbon was the winner, because remember, it's a blind taste test. So, Pilgrim, who we got in the gunfight tonight?
I like that. So our first cowboy hails from Claremont, Kentucky. Old Tub.
That name just screams Old West.
I mean, we picked this theme for a reason. Anyway, Old Tub was the name of the first brand of whiskey sold by the Jim Beam family over 140 years ago. Now, like its predecessor, straight bourbon, it's not been carbon or chill filtered, just screened, and it's a true sour mash whiskey.
So I've seen that expression a lot, sour mash whiskey, and in fact, you see it on actual bottles a lot.
Both of these, in fact.
Right, but what does that actually mean?
Okay, so we know what the mash bill is. The mash bill is the grains, right? So when the grains are put for distilling, you get this goo. Not 100% is going to turn into alcohol. Some of it's going to remain there. So, and you see this also in brewing. You get that goo, that mash goo. It's called backset. Now, a lot of distillers will just throw it out. back in the olden days, on every distillery, there was also a farm. So they would feed that back set to the livestock.
Waste not, want not.
That's living on a farm. But what they found out, if they started their next distillery project with that, they brought it in, there would be less funk. There'd be less bad aroma. There'd be less bad taste. And what they didn't know, and what we did learn, is that back set has a higher level of acidity. Acid, bacteria doesn't like acid. Yeast will live in a high acidic area.
So you keep the good stuff, get out the bad stuff.
That's right. But the other thing it would do is you've got in that back set, you have what are called heavy grains. You've got some starches that are still in there, some good sugars, but they haven't broken down yet. So you put them through that process one more time, and what does it do? It starts to pull that out. So you get a deeper taste, you get a deeper aroma. That's sour mash. That's the traditional way of doing it.
Wow, I had no idea. That's so interesting.
That's why we learn.
That is why we learn.
And look, and if you look at this bottle, we always like to look at the bottle. It even has that historic look. I mean, old tub, that writing looks like something straight out of a saloon in high noon.
And Jim Beam claims on its website that this limited release gives an aroma of floral honey, oak, and clove with orange zest. As for taste, they call it a warm bourbon, which I had actually never heard until getting ready for this episode.
That's right.
But apparently it means it's complemented by brown spices, honey sweetness, and a hint of leather, just like John Wayne's saddlebag in The Sons of Katie Elder.
Just what I'd want to be chewing on. This comes in at $24 a bottle, which could be a bargain.
Now, not to be outdone by the tradition of Old Tub, our other contender tonight is Old Bardstown Bottled and Bond. That comes from the Willett distillery, which was founded in 1936. Now, the Willett family had been making and selling whiskey since the early 1840s in Kentucky. So by the time Aloysius Willett founded the family distillery...
He went by Thompson.
Why didn't you just put Thompson Willett in there?
That was fun. Watch you try to say that.
So rude. So this was actually not the first distillery in the family. It was just the first to bear the family name. Old Bardstown was introduced in the 1940s. Interestingly enough, during the energy crisis of the 1970s, the family converted the company to produce ethanol for gasohol fuel. Now, this actually wound up being a really terrible business decision. And
whoops.
In the energy crisis, company failed, closed down.
But look, like any good Western hero, the story didn't end there. Just like Clint Eastwood riding in Pale Rider as the preacher. I'm going to set the record straight. The family came in, bought it back in 1984. They did. But then mainly it was a bottling company, independent bottling company, but they had bourbon left in the barrels that had been, that aging. So they were actually selling bourbon that had been aging for quite a while.
Quite a while.
Yeah, now in 2011, the distillery kicks back up, and in 2016, this hits the shelves again. Same bottle design, same label, going back to those original brands of the 1940s and 1950s.
Which gives it that vintage look that we love.
Yeah.
So now Willett claims that the nose of this bourbon is Fun Dip candy, specifically cherry, which takes me back to my childhood. I loved Fun Dip.
I'm sure.
Did they have Fun Dip back when you were a child?
No, we just chewed on honeysuckle.
How very Western of you.
How very.
The palate is hard candy, vanilla caramel, and notes of oak. They claim it to be the best value in bourbon since 2016.
$20 a bottle, and look at it. Both of these you definitely expect to see on the back bar of some saloon in the Old West. Maybe in the Magnificent Seven.
Shot a bust head.
Sorry, don't carry that kind, Cowboy.
Well, in that case, I'll have a double.
All right, B. Neither of these are yellow bellies, so let the gunfighting commence.
You're so drunk you can't hit nothing. In fact, you're probably seeing double.
I have 2 guns, one for each of you.
All right, we're going to go with number 1 first, right?
Now,
we don't know, remember, we don't know which is which.
No, we don't. Slide these out of the way.
Slide them out. All right, here you go, sir.
Thank you.
All right, so I noticed right off the bat, we have that classic light amber color.
And you were feeding me Widow Jane prior to this. You said that the Widow Jane, the names was enough.
It did. When I was picking
Yeah.
our sipper for the night, it felt like it fit in with the Old Westerns. Oh, that smells delicious.
In all fairness, neither one of us has ever had either one of these bourbons.
We have not. I'm doing the arm
I
trick.
can tell.
We have not had these before.
All right, I smell candy.
I saw candy and sweet, vanilla.
I smell candy.
I saw candy too. I taste hard candy, which means I'm probably wrong. This is probably not. This is probably not the Old Bardstown.
You're saying our track record is not what it should be.
It's not up to snuff. So it's very light. What are you getting?
Red Hots. Did you ever eat Red Hots?
I've had a Red Hot in my time.
I
hear you. I hear you.
But I don't mean like atomic bomb. I just
A little bit of the heat.
but not much.
Not overly cinnamony, but I get what you're saying. It's almost like those little red candies you used to get back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, not super cherry, but a little bit of cinnamon.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a starter.
It tastes like something your grandma had in her purse at church. Keep you quiet. Oh, is that just my grandma?
That was just your grandma.
The question is, are you ready to rank it? Or do
No.
you want to wait till we taste the second one?
I think we wait to taste the second one. This is where I always have to be careful not to confuse them because she puts these nice stickers. 1, 2.
So before we move on, we gotta talk about the finish. There's a little bit of burn at the very back, but not a lot.
No,
Not
just a
off-putting. I mean, you can feel it.
Whether this is the $20 or the $24, it's a bargain.
It's solid.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Nope, not a thing. That could hold its own at the gunfight of the OK Corral.
Absolutely. All right, so you're going in the front.
I'll go in the front. You go in the back.
All right. I'm closer to the closer to the rooster.
Closer to the rooster. All right, we move into number 2?
Yep.
All right. So, in my opinion, identical in color.
When she sat them down in front of us earlier before we started recording, we commented on that. They look like bourbon.
Ooh, I get an immediate... They look like bourbon. Well, thank God. I get an immediate hint of caramel. Off the bat.
I'm thinking one of those Werther's candies.
Another thing my grandma had in her purse.
No, oh yeah.
So I'm getting some caramel, a little butterscotch, which is the Werther's.
A little butterscotch.
Oh, that's good. I like that a lot.
That's sweeter.
It is sweeter.
And we know you like the sweeter. Yep.
So I also get a little bit of a taste of caramel. Trying to get what I get on the back end. A little bit of oak. I will never get leather, and I think it's because I've never sat and chewed on leather. But
We're going to have to have an experience. We'll just have to go to Tandy Leather. And
go to the leather tasting. We should have a leather strap here that we sniff instead of our arm to just get our nose right.
Go get one of my pa's belts.
We'll add a saddle to this wall.
Yeah.
All right, so back to this guy or gal. All right. This is 1, this is 2. They taste totally different.
You're going to like 2 better.
think you're right, partner. I'm ready to rank them. Are you?
Are you ranking now? Sometimes when you rank, you consider a price point. Are you ranking considering price point, or are we just ranking?
We're just ranking. These are kind of neutral out. They're a similar price point.
Okay.
I mean, it's in the back of my mind that you're not paying $80 for either of these. Like you're coming. These could have gone in our bougie bourbons on a budget episode.
Fantastically, by the way.
Exactly. They might have been way up there. So, first off, let's rank number 1. That dog will hunt for me.
That dog hunts.
You don't love it.
I like it a lot.
You do.
That dog hunts.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, let's try 2. So I really like this one. I like the sweetness. It's really smooth. That might be hush your mouth for me. And I feel like we're about to disagree.
Yeah, we never discussed how we'd handle one of these, and we can't really have a gunfight at the Casa de Rooster.
I think that's exactly what we have to do. Don't we have to draw? Doesn't Hamilton give us 10 dual commandments?
No. Didn't work out too well for him.
All right. You like 1 better.
I do.
You do. I like 1.
I think they're both dogs.
You think they're both dogs?
Those dogs hunt.
Okay. Let me give one more taste.
And our dog's sitting down here looking at us too, so he's even more interested.
So, I think this is the Old Bardstown.
Okay.
And I think this is the Old Tub, in my opinion. What do you think, which is which?
I think number 2 is Old Tub.
So we agree on which we think is which.
Yep.
But if you had to pick a slight winner, you would pick 1.
I would.
And if I had to pick a slight winner, I would pick 2.
Pick 2. Rock, paper, scissors, best 2 out of 3.
Let's do it. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Uh-oh. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Tie.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, you won. All right.
So.
All right, number 1 gets to be the
our
winner.
Which one is it?
But, Katie, which is which?
1 is the Bardstown.
Very good.
All right. Woo! So I still feel like a winner today.
I would also like to thank, we had a lovely couple travel to Kentucky. And they brought this back for us along with several other bottles, and we really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
We do.
And Scott, thank you for setting that up for us. We appreciate it.
And I also have to say that this is one of the first times that I felt like I really tasted the notes that the hard candy, all of that really came through in this one.
$19 a bottle.
That dog definitely hunts.
$19.99 a bottle.
They were both really good.
They're both good.
Especially for what you paid.
You can serve them. You can serve them both.
Mm-hmm.
We now have trivia with Ryan.
Hey guys. Good episode, by the way. Enjoyed the Western references. Speaking of the Western references, my true false question of the night, the term spaghetti Western, which has been thrown around for some movies, true or false, the term spaghetti Western began as an insult to low-budget cowboy films that were often filmed in Europe.
Well, I was told 2 reasons. One was they were low budget spaghetti, made in Italy for the most part, and 3 because people got shot up in them.
So I'm gonna guess true is the answer.
That is true. And also another thing that I found while I was looking at it was that a lot of the early kind of budget cowboy films were also directed by Italians, which is where the term spaghetti kind of got thrown in as well.
Did your research, sir?
Yeah, I'll try. All right, general trivia. You guys mentioned Fun Dip, an amazing candy. My past is filled with many a Fun Dip packages over the years. But which of the following flavors was not an original Fun Dip flavor when it was released in 1952? Apple, cherry, or grape?
It feels like it should be apple, but that seems too easy.
I would go with apple.
I'm going with apple.
And you are correct. It is. It was apple, cherry, it was cherry, grape, and lime were the three.
And then blue raspberry became one.
Yes. All right, and now sports trivia. Final. You guys mentioned probably the greatest Western actor of all time, John Wayne.
Played football at USC.
And never mind. All right, folks. Enjoyed it. Yeah.
Well done, sir.
All right.
Cheers.
Why'd
Yeah.
you cheers? We got to switch because you liked one better and I liked two better. All right. As always, cheers, y'all.
Cheers, y'all.
Well done, B.